Aboard the USS Horizon, Captain Marcus Renfield surveyed the vast expanse of uncharted space through the ship's observation deck. The mission was simple: explore beyond known territories, establish potential new colonies, and make contact with any intelligent life forms they might encounter. The crew was seasoned, their spirits high with the thrill of discovery. However, their journey took an unexpected turn when the ship's sensors picked up an unidentified vessel. "Captain, we have an unknown ship approaching at high speed," Lieutenant Juno reported, her voice tense. Marcus turned to the main screen, which displayed the rapidly approaching ship. Its design was unlike anything they had encountered before, sleek, with an eerie glow emanating from its hull. "Shields up, prepare for evasive maneuvers," Marcus ordered, his tone calm but firm. The crew sprang into action, well trained in the procedures for dealing with potential threats. The alien ship didn't respond to hails. Instead, it opened fire, its weapons striking the Horizon's shields with alarming precision. The ship shuddered under the impact, alarms blaring throughout the bridge. "Return fire," Marcus commanded. The Horizon's cannons blazed to life, retaliating with a barrage of laser fire. The battle was fierce, the two ships exchanging blows in the cold vacuum of space. Despite their best efforts, the alien vessel was formidable, its technology superior to anything the Horizon had faced before. Amidst the chaos, the alien ship launched a final, desperate attack, crippling the Horizon's engines. As it drifted away, heavily damaged, Marcus ordered a boarding party to inspect the wreckage. They found the ship in ruins, its crew dead, except for one survivor, a young alien girl. The boarding party brought her back to the Horizon, placing her in a secure holding cell. Marcus observed her through the cell's transparent wall. She was different from any alien he had seen: luminous eyes, ethereal features, and an air of fragility. Despite her injuries, she held herself with a regal poise. "Who are you?" Marcus asked through the intercom. The girl lifted her head, her voice barely above a whisper. "My name is Arya." Arya sat alone in the dimly lit cell, her eyes scanning the sterile environment. She was a prisoner now, surrounded by strangers who viewed her with suspicion and fear. The alien girl's mind raced with thoughts of her destroyed ship and fallen comrades. She wondered if she would ever see her home again. Captain Marcus Renfield entered the observation room adjacent to her cell, accompanied by Dr. Elena Ross, the ship's medical officer. Elena had been tasked with ensuring the alien's health while they decided her fate. "How is she?" Marcus asked, his gaze fixed on the alien girl. "Physically, she'll recover, but she's clearly been through a lot," Elena replied, her voice tinged with sympathy. "We need to understand her intentions, Marcus. She could be our enemy." Marcus nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. He activated the intercom, his voice firm but not unkind. "Arya, we need to know why you were in our space. What was your mission?" Arya looked up, meeting his gaze with a mixture of defiance and sorrow. "I was on a mission of peace," she began, her voice steady despite the circumstances. "My ship was attacked by pirates. We had no intention of engaging with your kind." Her words were met with skepticism from the crew, but Marcus saw something in her eyes, truth perhaps, or desperation. He decided to give her a chance, though many of his officers disagreed. "We'll need more than your word, Arya," Marcus said. "You understand our position. Trust is earned, not given freely." Days turned into weeks as Arya remained a prisoner, albeit one with a degree of freedom. She was allowed to move about the ship under constant supervision, her every action monitored closely. During this time, she began to share her knowledge, providing insights into her people's advanced technology. Slowly, the crew's attitude toward her began to shift. They saw her as more than an enemy. She became a valuable asset, her technical expertise helping them make significant improvements to the ship's systems. One evening, Marcus found Arya alone in the observation deck, gazing at the stars. He approached her, standing silently for a moment before speaking. "Thank you for your help with the repairs. You've given us a chance to survive out here." Arya turned to him, her eyes reflecting the distant starlight. "I did what I could. My mission may have failed, but my people believe in peace. I still hope that trust can be built between us." Marcus nodded, feeling the weight of her words. It's a start, Arya. It's a start. Despite objections from his crew, Marcus decided to trust Arya's story. The initial hostility had given way to cautious curiosity, and he knew that her advanced knowledge could be invaluable. He called a meeting with his senior officers to discuss the next steps. "Captain, this is a huge risk," Commander Langdon argued, his stern face etched with concern. "We can't just let her roam free." Marcus nodded, understanding the concerns. "I agree, but she's already proven useful. Our ship's systems are running more efficiently because of her. We need to balance caution with the potential benefits." Lieutenant Juno, the communications officer, chimed in. "I've been monitoring her interactions. She seems genuine, Captain. If we keep her under close supervision, I think it's worth the risk." With a plan in place, Marcus approached Arya in her quarters. "Arya, we're willing to give you more freedom on the ship, but you'll be under constant supervision. Do you understand?" Arya nodded, her gratitude evident. "I understand, Captain. Thank you for trusting me." As the days passed, Arya's presence became a fixture on the horizon. She worked closely with the engineering team, her knowledge of advanced technology revolutionizing many of the ship's systems. The crew began to see her less as a threat and more as an ally. Her calm demeanor and willingness to help won over many skeptics, including the initially resistant Commander Langdon. One evening, while working on a particularly tricky problem in the engine room, Arya paused and turned to Chief Engineer Ramirez. "There's a flaw in your energy matrix configuration. If we reroute the power through a secondary conduit, it will stabilize the output." Ramirez looked at her skeptically but followed her suggestion. The system hummed smoothly. "I'll be damned," he muttered, shaking his head in amazement. "She's right." Marcus observed these changes, his trust in Arya growing with each passing day. He often found himself seeking her out, not just for her technical expertise, but for her perspective on broader issues. One such conversation took place in the ship's mess hall. "Arya, why did you leave your home?" Marcus asked, genuinely curious. "My people believe in peace and exploration, much like yours. We wanted to establish contact with other civilizations, to share knowledge and build alliances. But the pirates, they destroyed everything," Arya replied, her voice tinged with sorrow. Marcus nodded, understanding the parallels between their missions. "We have more in common than I thought." "Captain, we're making good progress," Chief Engineer Ramirez reported. "With Arya's help, we should be back to full operational status in no time." Marcus nodded, feeling a sense of optimism. However, this respite was short-lived. The ship's sensors, now partially restored, detected movement within the nebula. "Multiple contacts, Captain. It looks like pirate ships," Lieutenant Juno warned, her voice tense. "Red alert! All hands to battle stations," Marcus ordered. The crew sprang into action, their training kicking in. The Horizon's weapon systems powered up, ready for the impending fight. The pirate ships emerged from the nebula's dense fog, their weapons blazing. The Horizon was outnumbered, but not outmatched. Marcus coordinated the defense, using the nebula's cover to his advantage. Arya, watching the tactical display, pointed out weaknesses in the pirate formations. "Focus fire on their lead ship's engines. It's their command vessel," she advised. Marcus relayed the order, and the Horizon's cannons unleashed a barrage of laser fire. The lead pirate ship shuddered under the assault, its engines sputtering before exploding in a fiery blaze. Despite their advantage, the pirates were relentless. They swarmed the Horizon, their smaller, more maneuverable ships darting in and out of the nebula's cover. The Horizon's shields flickered under the constant bombardment. "We can't hold them off forever," Commander Langdon said, his voice grim. Arya stepped forward, a determined look in her eyes. "I have an idea. If we channel all available power to the forward shields and make a full-speed charge, we can break through their formation." "It's risky, but it might just work," Marcus said, weighing the options. "Do it." The Horizon's engines roared to life, pushing the ship forward at maximum speed. The forward shields glowed with an intense energy, absorbing the pirates' attacks. The ship plowed through the enemy formation, scattering the pirate vessels. "Now fire all aft cannons," Marcus commanded. The Horizon's rear weapons unleashed a devastating salvo, crippling several pirate ships. The remaining pirates, realizing they were outmatched, retreated into the nebula's depths. As the battle concluded, the crew of the Horizon breathed a collective sigh of relief. The immediate threat was neutralized, but the encounter left them shaken. Marcus turned to Arya, his gratitude evident. "Arya, we couldn't have done it without you. You've proven yourself to be a true ally," he said. Arya nodded, her expression resolute. "We still have a long journey ahead, Captain. But together, we can face whatever comes our way." "Tell me more about this ancient technology," Marcus asked one evening in the ship's observation lounge. "What makes it so important?" Arya took a deep breath, her gaze distant as she recalled her mission. "It's called the Celestial Forge, an artifact from a long-lost civilization known as the Loomer. It's said to have the power to manipulate energy and matter on a scale that defies our understanding. My people believe it can be used to create, heal, or even destroy entire worlds." Marcus's eyes widened. "That sounds incredibly powerful. Why haven't the Allori used it?" "The forge is hidden and protected by ancient guardians. Only those deemed worthy can access it. My mission was to locate the Allori colony that was rumored to hold the key to unlocking the forge. But as you saw, the colony is now in ruins." Their conversation was interrupted by Lieutenant Juno. "Captain, we're approaching the coordinates." The Horizon dropped out of warp speed, revealing a massive, barren planet. Scans indicated traces of advanced technology beneath the surface. The crew prepared for a landing, hoping to uncover the secrets of the Celestial Forge. Marcus, Arya, and an away team descended to the planet's surface in a shuttle. They landed near the remains of what appeared to be a grand city, now reduced to rubble and overgrown with alien vegetation. As they explored the ruins, Arya led them to a hidden entrance beneath a collapsed building. The team ventured inside, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. They discovered a vast underground chamber, filled with intricate machinery and glowing crystals. "This is it," Arya said, her voice filled with awe. "The entrance to the Celestial Forge." Before they could proceed, the chamber was suddenly illuminated by a harsh, artificial light. A group of armed figures emerged from the shadows, their leader stepping forward with a menacing grin. "Thank you for leading us here," he sneered. "We've been following you since the nebula. Now the forge will be ours." As the leader of the armed group stepped forward, Marcus quickly assessed the situation. They were outnumbered and outgunned. He glanced at Arya, who gave a subtle nod, indicating she had a plan. "Who are you?" Marcus demanded, trying to buy time. The leader chuckled. "We are the Nightfall Syndicate, a rogue faction of the Allori. We seek the power of the Celestial Forge to reshape the galaxy in our image." Marcus's mind raced. He needed to find a way to turn the situation to their advantage. "If you destroy us, you'll never unlock the forge. Arya is the only one who can activate it." The leader hesitated, eyeing Arya with interest. "Is that true?" Arya stepped forward confidently. "Yes, but it requires precise knowledge and the right sequence of commands. If you harm us, you'll lose your only chance." The tension in the chamber was palpable. Marcus knew they had to act quickly. "Let us help you," he suggested. "Together, we can unlock the forge and share its power." The leader seemed to consider the offer, then nodded. "Very well, but any sign of betrayal, and you all die." With the uneasy alliance formed, they proceeded deeper into the chamber. Arya led the way, her fingers dancing across ancient control panels, deciphering the Lumiere inscriptions. The machinery hummed to life, and a massive door slowly opened, revealing the Celestial Forge. The forge was a marvel of engineering, a towering structure of glowing crystals and intricate machinery. The Nightfall Syndicate was mesmerized by its beauty and potential. Arya approached the central console, her expression focused. "Captain, we need to input the correct sequence," Arya whispered to Marcus. "But once it's activated, we must be ready to act." As Arya worked on the console, Marcus subtly signaled his team to be prepared. The Syndicate members were too engrossed in the forge to notice. The chamber filled with a soft, pulsating light as the forge activated. Suddenly, a holographic figure appeared before them, a Lumiere guardian. "Only those with pure intentions may wield the power of the forge," it proclaimed. The Syndicate leader laughed. "Pure intentions? We seek power, and we will have it." The Guardian's eyes glowed with a fierce light. "You are unworthy." Before the Syndicate could react, the chamber shook violently. The Forge's defense mechanisms activated, targeting the intruders. Arya and Marcus took advantage of the chaos, leading their team to safety while the Syndicate was overwhelmed by the Forge's automated defenses. As they regrouped outside the chamber, Marcus turned to Arya. "We need to secure the Forge and ensure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands." Arya nodded, determination in her eyes. "Agreed. But first, we need to make sure the Syndicate can't regroup." With the Nightfall Syndicate defeated, Marcus and Arya worked together to seal the Forge, ensuring that only those with pure intentions could access its power. Their alliance had grown stronger, built on mutual respect and trust. As they returned to the horizon, Marcus looked at Arya with newfound admiration. "We've crossed a divide, Arya. Together, we can achieve great things." Arya smiled, her confidence restored. "Yes, Captain. Together we can shape the future." "Scanners are picking up debris in orbit," Lieutenant Juno reported. "It looks like there was a battle here." Marcus frowned. "Prepare a landing party. We need to see what happened down there." The shuttle descended through the planet's atmosphere, revealing a desolate landscape below. Once a thriving colony, the site was now eerily silent, with ruins stretching as far as the eye could see. The team disembarked, moving cautiously through the rubble. "This place was a hub of activity," Arya said, her voice tinged with sorrow. "Now it's a graveyard." They found signs of a recent battle, scorched ground, abandoned weapons, and the remains of both Aelori and their attackers. Despite the devastation, there were no survivors in sight. The deeper they ventured, the more oppressive the silence became. "Captain, over here," called Dr. Elena Ross, pointing to a large structure partially buried under debris. It appeared to be an entrance to an underground facility. Arya's eyes widened. "This is it, the Central Archive. If there's any record of what happened, it will be here." The team cleared the entrance and made their way inside. The air was thick with dust, and the dim lighting flickered as they moved through the corridors. Eventually, they reached a massive chamber filled with ancient, still-functioning machinery. Arya approached the main console, her fingers dancing over the controls. "It's all here," she said, accessing the colony's records. "The colony was attacked by a rogue Aelori faction seeking the Celestial Forge. They left no survivors and took what they could find." Marcus clenched his fists. "We need to stop them from finding the Forge, but first we need to secure any remaining technology." The team worked tirelessly, gathering data and salvaging what they could from the ruins. They found blueprints, logs, and fragments of the advanced technology the Aelori had developed. Among the discoveries was a device that could interface with the Forge, a crucial piece they would need for their mission. As they prepared to leave, Arya paused, looking around the ruined colony. "This place was my home. I won't let their sacrifice be in vain." Marcus placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We'll make sure it isn't. We'll stop the rogue faction and protect the Forge." With the information gathered from the silent colony, the Horizon set a course for the hidden location of the Celestial Forge. The journey was tense, each crew member aware of the stakes. They were racing against time, knowing the rogue faction could be closing in on the same target. The ship arrived at a seemingly unremarkable asteroid field, but scans revealed a massive structure hidden within the largest asteroid, an ancient vault undisturbed for millennia. The Horizon approached cautiously, deploying a team to investigate. Marcus, Arya, and a select group of officers navigated their way through the labyrinthine corridors of the vault. The walls were adorned with intricate carvings and symbols, a testament to the Lumire's advanced civilization. The deeper they ventured, the more the air crackled with an almost palpable energy. At the heart of the vault, they found the Celestial Forge, an awe-inspiring construct of shimmering crystals and complex machinery. It pulsated with a soft, ethereal light, its power evident even to the untrained eye. "This is it," Arya whispered, her voice filled with reverence. "The Celestial Forge." As they approached the forge, the vault's automated defenses activated. Holographic guardians materialized, blocking their path. Arya stepped forward, presenting the interface device they had recovered from the colony. The guardian scanned it, then her, before allowing them to proceed. Suddenly, alarms blared as another ship arrived, blasting its way into the vault. The rogue Aelori faction had found them. Led by a ruthless commander named Rathar, they stormed the chamber, weapons drawn. "Thank you for doing the hard work," Rathar sneered. "Now the forge is ours." A fierce battle erupted. The Horizons team fought valiantly, but the rogue Aelori were relentless. Amidst the chaos, Arya worked desperately to activate the forge's defenses. Her fingers flew over the controls, inputting the sequence she had learned from the colony's records. "We need to hold them off a little longer," Marcus shouted, covering Arya as she worked. Just as Rathar's forces began to overwhelm them, the forge came to life. Energy beams shot out from the crystals, targeting the intruders. The rogue Aelori were thrown back, their weapons rendered useless against the forge's power. Rathar, realizing he was defeated, attempted to flee. Marcus and Arya cornered him, their weapons trained on the rogue commander. "You've lost," Marcus said coldly. "The forge is protected." Rathar glared at them, his face twisted with rage. "This isn't over. Others will come for the forge." As the remaining rogues were taken into custody, Marcus and Arya stood before the celestial forge, its gentle glow filling the chamber. They had secured the ancient technology, but they knew the battle was far from over. "We need to ensure this never falls into the wrong hands," Arya said, her voice resolute. Marcus nodded. "Agreed. We'll use the forge to protect and heal, not to destroy. Together we can honor the legacy of your people and create a better future." The Horizon made its way to a neutral space station where representatives from various factions would convene. The station, a bustling hub of activity, was the perfect location for secretive and sensitive negotiations. As Marcus and Arya disembarked, they were greeted by representatives of the Galactic Council, an organization of various species dedicated to maintaining peace. Among them was Counselor Doran, a wise and respected leader. "Captain Renfield, Arya," Doran said warmly. "We've heard much about your exploits and the importance of the Celestial Forge. We are prepared to discuss terms of an alliance." The conference room buzzed with tension as delegates from different factions gathered. The stakes were high, and trust was scarce. Marcus began the meeting by outlining the threats posed by the rogue Aelori and the potential of the forge. "With the forge, we can advance our civilizations, heal our planets, and ensure mutual prosperity," Marcus explained. "But we need to protect it from those who would use it for destruction." Arya stood beside him, adding her voice to his plea. "My people believed in the power of the forge to bring peace and unity. We must honor their legacy by ensuring it is used for good." The negotiations were intense, with many factions voicing concerns about the risks involved. However, the urgency of the situation and the potential benefits of the forge eventually swayed the majority. A tentative alliance was formed, with a shared commitment to protect the Celestial Forge and use its power responsibly. As the meeting concluded, Marcus and Arya felt a sense of relief. They had secured crucial support, but the road ahead was still fraught with danger. The alliance needed to be solidified, and trust had to be built. Outside the conference room, Arya took a deep breath. "We've taken the first step. Now we need to prove that this alliance can work." Marcus nodded. "We will. Together, we'll face whatever comes our way." One evening, while reviewing security reports, Marcus received an urgent message from one of the new outposts. "Captain, we've detected a large fleet approaching. It's the Nightfall Syndicate. They're coming for the forge." Marcus quickly assembled his senior staff. "Prepare for battle. We need to hold them off until reinforcements arrive." As the Horizon and its allies moved to intercept the Syndicate fleet, tension ran high. The battle was brutal, with both sides sustaining heavy losses. In the midst of the chaos, Marcus noticed something troubling. The Syndicate seemed to have inside information about their defenses. "We have a traitor," he realized, his mind racing to identify the culprit. Trust was fragile, and the revelation of a spy within their ranks could shatter the new alliance. As the battle raged on, Marcus and Arya received a transmission from an allied ship. It was Commander Tarek, one of the Aelori leaders, who had supported their cause. "Captain, you need to know. There's a traitor among us, feeding information to the Syndicate. It's someone close to you," Tarek warned. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. Who is it? Before Tarek could respond, his ship was hit, the transmission cutting off abruptly. Marcus and Arya exchanged a worried glance. They needed to identify the traitor and stop the Syndicate's advance. In the heat of battle, Arya used her knowledge of Elori technology to scan for unusual communications. Her efforts paid off when she intercepted a message from one of the Horizon's officers, relaying their tactical plans to the enemy. "It's Commander Langdon," Arya said, her voice filled with shock and betrayal. "He's the traitor." Marcus felt a surge of anger and disbelief. Langdon had been a trusted officer and friend. There was no time for hesitation. "Security, detain Commander Langdon immediately," he ordered. As Langdon was taken into custody, the tide of the battle began to turn. The Syndicate, deprived of their inside information, started to falter. With renewed determination, the Horizon and its allies pushed back, eventually forcing the Syndicate to retreat. In the aftermath of the battle, Marcus confronted Langdon in the brig. "Why, Langdon? Why betray us?" Langdon's expression was a mix of defiance and regret. "I believed the Syndicate's promises. They said they would use the Forge to bring order to the galaxy. I thought it was the right thing to do." "You were wrong," Marcus said coldly. "You put us all at risk." With the traitor exposed and the immediate threat neutralized, Marcus and Arya knew their fight was far from over. They had to reinforce the alliance and prepare for future challenges. As they stood on the bridge watching the stars, Marcus turned to Arya. "We've faced betrayal and revelation, but we're still standing. We'll protect the Forge and build a future worth fighting for." Arya nodded, her resolve unwavering. "Together we can overcome any obstacle. We'll ensure the legacy of the Celestial Forge lives on." "It's from Tarek's ship," Lieutenant Juno reported. "He's still alive, but they're under heavy attack." Marcus sprang into action. "Prepare a rescue mission. We can't let the Syndicate take them." The Horizon sped towards the coordinates, the crew ready for another confrontation. As they approached the outpost, they saw Tarek's ship, heavily damaged and surrounded by Syndicate vessels. The situation was dire. "Deploy all fighters," Marcus ordered. "We need to create a diversion and get Tarek's crew out of there." The Horizon's fighters launched into action, engaging the Syndicate ships in a fierce dogfight. Amidst the chaos, Marcus led a boarding party to Tarek's ship, determined to rescue their allies. Inside the beleaguered vessel, they found Tarek and his remaining crew holding the line against the Syndicate forces. The scene was chaotic, with the sounds of blaster fire echoing through the corridors. "Tarek, we're here to get you out," Marcus shouted over the din. Tarek, wounded but defiant, nodded. "We've been holding them off, but we can't last much longer." As the two groups fought their way back to the shuttle, Arya used her knowledge of Elori technology to bypass security protocols and create temporary shields, giving them precious moments to retreat. "Move, move," Marcus urged his team, covering their retreat as they made their way to the shuttle. They managed to reach the shuttle with Tarek and his crew, but the Syndicate forces were relentless, closing in rapidly. Just as it seemed they might be overwhelmed, Arya activated a portable cloaking device, concealing their escape. The shuttle docked with the Horizon, and the crew quickly jumped to warp, leaving the Syndicate behind. On board, Marcus and Arya assessed the situation. Tarek's survival was a small victory, but the Syndicate's persistence was troubling. "Thank you, Marcus," Tarek said, his voice weak but grateful. "You saved us." "We're in this together," Marcus replied. "We need every ally we can get." Despite the successful rescue, the Horizon's crew knew they were living on borrowed time. The Syndicate's relentless pursuit of the Celestial Forge meant that they would stop at nothing to seize its power. Marcus and Arya had to devise a plan to secure the Forge permanently. "Captain, we've detected a large Syndicate fleet regrouping near the Forge's location," Lieutenant Juno reported. "They're planning another assault." Marcus's jaw tightened. "We need to confront them directly and end this threat once and for all." The crew prepared for the impending battle, reinforcing their defenses and strategizing their approach. Marcus and Arya shared a moment of quiet resolve on the observation deck. "We might not get another chance," Marcus said. "We have to make this count." Arya nodded, her expression determined. I'll do whatever it takes to protect the Forge and our future. As the horizon approached the Forge, the Syndicate fleet loomed large. The final battle began, a colossal clash of ships and firepower. The Horizon's allies fought valiantly, but the Syndicate's numbers were overwhelming. In the midst of the chaos, Rathar's flagship pushed forward, aiming directly for the Forge. Marcus realized their intent. They're trying to take the Forge by force. We need to stop them. Arya, understanding the gravity of the situation, made a fateful decision. I'll go to the Forge. I can activate its final defense mechanisms, but it requires someone to stay behind. Marcus's heart sank. Arya, no, it's too dangerous. There's no other way, Arya insisted. The Forge must be protected at all costs. With a heavy heart, Marcus agreed. Be careful. Arya boarded a shuttle and headed for the Forge, while Marcus and the Horizon provided cover. The battle intensified, with the Syndicate throwing everything they had at the defenders. Inside the Forge, Arya worked quickly, her hands flying over the ancient controls. She accessed the core systems and began the activation sequence for the ultimate defense protocol. The Forge's energy surged, but Rathar and his forces breached the outer defenses, closing in on her position. Marcus, watching from the horizon, felt a surge of panic. We need to give her more time. Focus all fire on Rathar's ship. The Horizon's weapons blazed, hitting Rathar's flagship with everything they had. The Syndicate ship faltered, but Rathar was undeterred. He sent a boarding party into the Forge, determined to stop Arya. Inside, Arya faced the Syndicate forces alone. She fought valiantly, but it was clear she was outnumbered. With the defense protocol nearly complete, she made a desperate choice. She overcharged the system, knowing it would destroy the Forge, and herself along with it. The Forge's energy reached a critical level, and Arya sent one final message to Marcus. The Forge will be safe. Remember our promise. Protect our future. Marcus's heart broke as he heard her words. Arya, no. A blinding light engulfed the Forge as it detonated, taking the Syndicate forces with it. The Horizon and its allies watched in stunned silence as the explosion faded, leaving nothing but debris where the Forge once stood. The Syndicate fleet, now leaderless and in disarray, retreated. The battle was over, but the cost was immense. Marcus and his crew mourned the loss of Arya, a brave ally who had sacrificed everything to ensure the safety of the Celestial Forge. As they drifted through the wreckage, Marcus vowed to honor her memory. We'll build the future you dreamed of, Arya. We'll make sure your sacrifice was not in vain. The destruction of the Celestial Forge marked a turning point for the Horizon and its allies. The once formidable Syndicate fleet, now leaderless and scattered, posed a diminished threat. The victory came at a high cost, with the loss of Arya weighing heavily on everyone. As the Horizon and its fleet regrouped, Marcus gathered his senior officers in the ship's briefing room to plan their next steps. We've won the battle, but the war isn't over, Marcus began, his voice resolute but tinged with sadness. We need to secure our position and rebuild our defenses. The Syndicate may be weakened, but they'll regroup eventually. Commander Tarek, still recovering from his injuries, nodded. We need to turn this loss into an opportunity, strengthen our alliances, and ensure that no rogue factions can rise to power again. The crew worked tirelessly, repairing the damage and fortifying their positions. They reached out to other potential allies, sharing the story of their battle and the sacrifice made to protect the Celestial Forge. The response was overwhelmingly positive, as many civilizations recognized the need for unity and cooperation. During a solemn ceremony, Marcus and the crew honored Arya's memory. They erected a monument at the site of the Forge's destruction, a symbol of her bravery and the hope she had inspired. Marcus spoke to the gathered allies, his voice steady and strong. Arya believed in a future where all our peoples could live in peace and harmony. We owe it to her to make that dream a reality. Together, we can build a legacy that honors her sacrifice. As the coalition of allies grew, so did their resolve to protect one another. They established a network of communication and mutual defense, ensuring that any threat to one was a threat to all. This newfound unity brought a sense of purpose and determination to the galaxy.